Chaotically Nerdy is made by nerds for nerds. This podcast is made by adults for adults and children with bad parents. Adult language will be used and adult situations may arise. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Chaotically Nerdy. On this week's episode, taking a break from what we have been doing, we're actually going to fill your ears with aliens.
Yeah.
Sure.
I was going to make a really good obscure reference to a person on iFunny. There is a person on iFunny that his name is I Want to Fuck Ahsoka. And every time there is an Ahsoka post, you will find this person commenting on it.
It's those head tails every time. It's been that way since the 70s.
And it's
like 80s. 80s when the first Twilight that wasn't gross was on there.
But, and it is just, a lot of times the comments are just like, wood.
Would fuck.
That's it. And it's great.
Like,
but I was afraid nobody else would get it.
W-O-U-L-D?
I wouldn't have got it.
W-O-U-L-D, yes.
Not W-O-O-D.
That'd be funny.
I mean, even then it would be. I'm sure there are, it's Reddit. I'm sure there are some of those wood comments that are just wood.
Probably. So, just from that hint, we're going to talk about season 1 of Ahsoka. It's been a minute, because technically today is October 28th.
Yeah.
Trying to think of when I watched it.
It was around the time it was ending.
Yes. I finished it, I think, the same week that the finale came out, which is impressive.
Because you were like, it was the week before the finale, because you typed in like, hey, one of you two fuckers want to make the script because I'm watching it right now.
Yeah, and I cranked through it, too.
Yeah.
Impressively.
It's only like...
It is only 8 episodes.
It's not like a massive time commitment, and they're relatively short episodes.
By the way, neither one of you said anything back, so I just started.
Yeah, but then I posted it like 2 days later.
I had it.
I knew. I was like, well, he won't finish in time, so as long as I post it by like Sunday.
Yeah. You got it. You did it. But
well, specifically, I actually waited. Now, when Sunday, I waited until the actual last episode came out, and then did it.
Gotcha.
So I could be like, all right, here's the last.
By the way, because I didn't say who was filling your ears with aliens, it's me, Tyler.
And me, Jarrett.
And me, Ethan.
Hey, there we go.
Longest intro ever.
That is a very long, it was 2 minutes and 22 seconds.
Too long, some would say.
Some would say our podcast period is too long.
Logan wouldn't.
Yeah, Logan wouldn't.
Logan wants it to be longer and
more frequent.
and
harder.
I was going to say harder.
Longer and harder.
Yeah.
Longer, harder.
Bigger.
Was it uncut?
And uncut.
Yeah, longer, harder, uncut. So first up is our scores. We're going to rank it.
Out of what?
Out of 10. What? What do you mean? I
don't know.
I rolled the wrong dice.
Out of
35?
Yeah. Out of a 4. Yeah. You can rank 1 to 4.
4 stars.
Ethan, you're up first.
Well, I guess, I mean, it's good, right? It was entertaining, but I think I would probably give it like I had problems with it. But I could probably give it like a 6. Yeah, I'll give it a 6.
Jarrett.
I will give it a 7.9.
Okay, and I'm last. I give it like a 7. Like maybe 6.8, something like that.
We're still right there, grouped together.
Yeah, we're not terribly far apart. Next up is notable actors. Well, I can't remember.
Rosario Dawson.
Well, yeah, but that's a given because she's the main actress.
You're wanting to say Balin Scrolls actor. No?
I don't know who that is.
Ray Stevenson?
Yeah. I mean, he is good.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. That's not who I'm thinking of. It's whoever voiced the fucking robot.
David Tennant.
There you go. I wanted to say Taika Waititi for some fucking reason, and I knew it wasn't right.
He does IG-88.
Yes, but that's why I was sitting here having a stutter.
David Tennant was really good.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Tennant always delivers.
I'm trying to think of who else did well. What was the Ezra.
Uh,
Amon Esfandi.
yeah.
Esfandi.
I was like, don't ask me to pronounce his name. I don't
Well, I'm
know.
literally on the IMDb.
Yeah,
page.
it's
You liked him?
I
yeah,
did.
I liked him too.
Oh, well.
I didn't think. What was your problems with him?
He was terrible.
In what way?
In what way?
Yeah.
He didn't act like Ezra. That was a big point.
Well, it's been years.
It wasn't like it was alone. He had those turtle people. Yeah, yeah. That fighter episode with all the turtle fucking.
Yeah, go
Yeah, we
listen
know
to that.
we know what Ezra was doing.
We were foreshadowing.
Yeah. No, I didn't care for it. I felt really weird and off to me. I'm not alone in this. Logan said the same thing. Jeremy said the same thing. I think even Sean said the same thing. It just felt strange to me. It felt like he was trying to come off as not an actor and not succeeding.
I don't know. I guess because I don't know as much of the backstory with like.
Yeah, I've only watched like 5 episodes of Rebels. So I mean, that's
I watched
why
0. I have no idea.
I've literally just watched the episodes
I
with
mean-
Maul and Obi-Wan and Ahsoka and Vader.
I guess he wasn't just the worst, but I was expecting a lot more out of Jabba the Hutt.
That's a callback because he called every time he's like they ask for his name, he just says like Jabba the Hutt.
That's great. Next up, recasting animated characters for the live action. What the hell did you mean by this, Jerry?
Just like
Did they do a good job?
yeah.
Okay.
Like, did they do a fair? Because this is now we've had what, Ahsoka, Thrawn, Sabine, Ezra, Hera. Like we had like 5 or 6 that like
That were
Even
originally
David Tennant.
and David Tennant. Yeah,
originally seen in
yeah, they were
animated.
animated and did not. Which yeah, they didn't keep any of the voice actors.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I'd have to look. I don't think so.
I'm about to say the only other animated ones that have been put in, I mean, because Ahsoka showed up
Yeah.
in Mandalorian,
Yeah.
of course, but the only other one that we've seen was the Inquisitor guy, the bald guy,
Yeah.
and on Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
That's really the only other person that we've seen that was only ever animated that was moved to
live action.
live action. Well, I mean, the other Inquisitors on that were also from Rebels as well. So, but they did okay there. I don't think they were terrible, but like Obi-Wan was terrible. But I think that this did a better job at casting. But I still don't know what you mean by this question.
Just did they do a good job?
Oh yeah,
Did they pick the right actor? Like adaptations? Because
Oh.
when you see an animated person, you have an idea whenever they make it live action. Like, let's take Dragon Ball Evolution.
Well, that's just the worst.
It is the worst, but
Let's
that's
take
it's dramatic, and that's why I went with it.
The
Because
Last Airbender.
yeah,
oh, it was awful.
well, it's an awful movie, but as far as casting and how people look, the guy that played Aang wasn't
Wasn't that,
that
far?
one. That
wasn't-
one wasn't that far.
He was white.
Aang looks white
No,
to a degree.
Yeah, but he's
he's
supposed
anime. He doesn't
Yeah.
look white. Nobody looks white in anime. They look like cat people.
Yeah.
That is true.
I'd say that they did a good job casting in this, but it's also hard to mess up making people look like what they're supposed to look like when they're so different from one another. Because I mean, you got Sabine who has the funny hair colors. You got Ahsoka who is the
Tortuga. No, Tortuga. Fuck.
Wow, you've messed me up. I can't remember what
Yeah.
it is now. Togruta.
That's
Yeah.
sure.
She's the Togruta. They're very iconic looking with the weird head tails and stuff. And then obviously Hera, again, with the head tails. You know how space cowboys like their head tails.
Gives you something to hold on to.
Oh, yeah. Love handles. But no, they all looked like what they were supposed to look like.
Mm-hmm.
They all acted. They all sounded like what they were supposed to look like, aside from Ezra. But I think that Ezra's problem wasn't really the actor so much as it was the way the character was written, the dialogue that he got. I don't think that it portrayed the character of Ezra very well. So that's just having watched Rebels. I mean, it doesn't really work out for me, but that's me.
Next up, lightsaber gut stabs don't work.
Yeah. This is like
Yeah.
Filoni's thing, which it makes sense because they would cauterize
Exactly.
wounds.
That was going to be my
sense.
point, is that they would immediately be cauterized.
It's just,
so
it
therefore,
almost doesn't seem to make sense in terms of the Star Wars universe because it seems like every time somebody got stabbed with a lightsaber, they died.
I mean, you
Well,
cut
I mean,
Darth Maul in half.
So that's
true.
a problem with movies in general.
Yeah.
Anytime they're sort of fighting or anything, someone gets shot once in the shoulder and then they die instantly. That never happens in real life. I mean, most of the time those people survive. So, like, people shouldn't be dying left and right just from having their arm cut off.
It was when the episode came out. This was a big talking point. People were mad about it. I believe Logan was mad about it.
Well, it looked very obvious that would have been a
death fake out.
a fatal wound any other time.
I don't know about this specific situation.
It was just, there was a lot of online discourse of like why.
Yeah, but I don't remember this specific situation where somebody got stabbed in the stomach and didn't.
Shin stabbed Sabine in the stomach whenever she went to go.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
It's right near it's either the beginning of one of the episodes or the
Like
end of episode 1.
It's the end of episode
But if you go back to the books,
1 or 2.
there's plenty of instances people got cut up, or like Darth Maul, like got cut up or stabbed with a lightsaber and didn't die. I mean, look at Anakin. I mean, of course he had a
Yeah, but it's all extremities though.
but I don't know. It just because you got stabbed to the stomach doesn't mean that you're going to die in real life with a knife, and that's actually probably a worse wound.
It is because it doesn't cauterize.
And especially since we don't have Bacta, which is just this universal healing that even works for nerves and stuff. So it's not outlandish to me that somebody could survive getting stabbed with a lightsaber. But
Next up, I love this one. Fuck Senator.
it's Journo.
this is interesting to me because I read what this timeline is supposed to be in the old books, right? He's actually taking the place of an old character that was actually supposed to be a Bothan, who was actually paid off by the Imperial Remnant.
Yeah, you know that or I guess we know as like the audience. If you have watched Star Wars Resistance, his son in Resistance is the main character, and he's not a bad guy. So, Zerno is not like part of the Imperial Remnant, which is what they very much tried to like paint it as. Like he's at least Imperial, like sympathetic, but he fights against the new the First Order in Resistance. So it's just kind of like he's just made to be an unlikable character for the sake of being an unlikable character.
It happens.
And I was like, fucking go away. I hate you.
Well, they have to make the politicians look like terrible people because politicians are terrible people.
Now that we also said
Otherwise, it would be unbelievable. Because even Mon Mothma is kind of a terrible person.
Yeah. But we have to set up also like how did the First Order come back?
Well, yeah,
just through blatant disregard of
any and all
Imperial
this is
activity.
happening.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
They are literally. He's worse than Fudge in Harry Potter. Like la 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 la.
Yeah. But isn't that good writing? Because he's easily hateable. Plus, it's a politician trying to throw a blind, like trying to cast a blind eye.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't see this.
Like, yeah, that happens all the time.
It does happen all the time.
Yeah. You just have to turn on the news for like 5 seconds. Yeah. It's awful.
Also, like the best use of C-3PO ever.
Oh yeah.
To just be like,
Yeah.
Carrie Fisher's dead, and Leia's not at this point in time, but he's just her Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, he also got put in his place over that too. It's like I'm like, who is this droid? Well, I guess you haven't seen the giant gold robot roaming around the Senate building for the last 20 years.
Now I'm going to switch over to mine that I seen before we go to the next one.
Sure.
Unless you got something, because you pointed like you really did.
No, it looked like he was thinking, and I was like,
One of the things that I seen was in episode 2, there was the Sith that had the armor.
Oh,
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the
Why do the fucking bad guys always look so damn cool?
what's his name? Merrick? Is that right?
I have no idea. Yeah, Merrick. M-A-R-R-O-K.
Oh, I didn't put that in there. There are so many theories about who he was. A lot of people thought he was Ezra. A lot of people thought he was Starkiller. A lot of people thought he was Maul. There's so many fucking theories.
Seriously, though, I feel like all the cool people...
he can't be Maul.
Why couldn't he be?
Maul's dead.
Yeah, and he was definitely just some sort of necrotic
Hulk creature.
Yeah. He could definitely have been Maul. Like the corpse of Maul. I don't think that he was.
I don't
even know if he like really had a body. It didn't even look like he had a body.
It could have been a droid.
No, he had like the Night Sister magic come at him whenever Sabine kills him.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think he was just like almost like pure magic.
It could have just been some other random Zabrak.
That's kind of. Well, I don't think it was a Zabrak.
That's a mirror.
I think he was just like a random fuckhead. Yeah.
Oh, really? It makes sense.
Just like some random fuckhead that they're like put armor on him. He's like some sort of
it makes sense.
higher ranked.
Why would you make it somebody important and then not show?
Yeah, I just don't like it. I think they were trying to make it seem like he was going to be something important, but he just looked cool.
Well, apparently he wasn't, but he was just cool.
He just was there to look cool and be the secondary antagonist group before Morgan and Thrawn.
Yeah. So another point that I had: did Order 66 kill anyone?
Lots of people.
I feel like
They're
you
gonna
constantly see more and more.
There were a lot of Jedi.
Here's the thing. In that 19 years, not cool to be a Jedi. So, yeah, there's going to be more and more Jedi popping up and being like, hey, we survived the Order 66.
Yeah. Especially, they're going to come out of the woodwork once.
Also, it's just way less cool if every fucking Jedi just dies to a bunch of random clone troopers.
I get that.
When canonically, stormtroopers / clone troopers suck at killing people.
Most things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, another one. I keep finding ones that have all happened like in the same. I can tell when I stopped. So in, I think it's episode 2, whenever Ahsoka's like out trying to fix something, like she's in space, she got out on the ship.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're shooting at Ahsoka.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you shoot at one person on a ship when that person's trying to fix this? Just shoot the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought the same thing.
Okay, I'm glad I'm not alone on that because
it was cool.
I mean,
When she
yeah,
destroyed
it was cool, but
But it's not really that cool when it doesn't work.
She destroyed one of the ships, didn't she?
She did.
Yeah.
no,
was cool.
I think he's meaning the shooting isn't.
Yeah, but they could have done the
Oh, no.
same thing to them. She could have done the same thing while they were shooting the ship. The problem
Sure.
isn't whether she killed anything out there or destroyed anything out there. The problem is that they were trying to shoot her.
Yeah.
Obviously trying to shoot her, which is just stupid.
Yeah, makes no sense. If I'm on a pirate ship and shooting cannonballs at the ship and somebody jumps over the side to try to patch a hole, I'm not going to go kill that guy. I'm going to say keep blasting fucking holes. And if you hit that guy, good on you. If you don't care.
It didn't really bother me. I probably thought it was like, weird.
I guess I've become more critical of stupid choices. Does that make sense?
Is this my fault?
Maybe. Probably.
You're welcome.
That kind of like little inconsistency, as long as it doesn't like affect the overall general plot, doesn't really matter to me. It's It's a story beat to move into A.
It's weird choices from
It
the
is weird.
directing, which means that their intelligence is lower than I had hoped for.
A lot of
So,
the Star Wars stuff has had weird
Choices.
directing
Oh, yeah.
choices.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just-
And maybe it's because with all the Star Wars stuff that has been coming out and watching more and more, maybe I just pay attention to more of that stuff that bothers me, I guess.
Yeah.
Next up, there's new galaxies to explore, and there's space whales.
yeah. You had probably never heard of a Purrgil before.
No.
Yeah. It's
it's been a canonical thing for a long
Yeah.
time, since like the 90s.
It looked good.
they're cool.
They're pretty cool. I desperately hate the new galaxy thing. That has never actually happened in Star Wars in the old books. This is the first time they've been to a new galaxy because the distance is so ridiculously vast that even if you were to travel, like it's so far out of the bounds of reality and physics that it's just strictly, totally, like I can't even suspend disbelief to believe it for the movie.
I always assumed like hyperspace was like a wormhole, though. Where
It's not.
I don't know.
No, they're literally traveling like. So it's not like Star Trek. So Star Trek uses like wormholes and like they use like
maybe that's just because I know too much about
the
physics.
the bending of space.
Because that's the only realistic way to travel
Yeah.
large distances in space.
right.
In the blink of an eye.
Well, like in any amount of time.
Yeah, for any amount of time is to transverse space, but not like from one place to another by bridging it instead of like just traversing it. Yeah, because that's what Star Trek does. Star Wars. All right, go ahead. Explain.
Like, what's the easiest point from here to here? What's the quickest way to get there? Nope.
Fair enough.
That's how it works.
Yeah, and that's what Star Trek does.
Yeah.
And it makes a lot of sense, and they actually have models and
By the way, for the-
mathematical theories
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
support it.
For the audio listeners,
Yeah.
he marked 2 points that would have been in a straight line
Yeah.
and then bent
Fold.
a piece of paper.
Yeah,
So
I
the lines
folded
touched.
space.
Right. So in Star Trek, they actually go several places beyond the speed of light.
Yeah.
Which is whether they have technology or mathematics that goes beyond our technology. Yeah, okay, they'd have to, but the reasonability does not pan out once you hit the speed of light or even approach it.
Yeah, approaching speed light's like ridiculous. It's a whole physics. Like
There's
conundrum.
also like weird time things
Time
that happen,
dilation, yep.
and it's just you don't
fuck with
do that.
space.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why Star Trek's mode of transportation works, but Star Wars doesn't.
Yeah, it's
in
kind of
theory.
it's one of those things you have to suspend your disbelief of actual real world physics when you go to Star Wars. You're like, yep, they can just travel across the galaxy in hours.
But the galaxy thing is the galaxies are so far
Yeah.
apart. Like it would take billions of years.
Yeah. Well, it's like multitudes because.
Oh yeah, it's
what's the farthest star from here?
the farthest star.
Not farthest.
The farthest ggalexy
the
is
farthest-
the nearest
I
galaxy
don't know, is that farthest?
is it's Andromeda.
Andromeda, and it's like
It's a long, long, long way away.
5 billion light years or something.
It's something
like
like that. Yeah.
I don't know.
Even if it were closer, if it was 500 million light years, that's still not reasonable. Yeah.
Like the closest star is like even
It's a long, long way away.
like 1,000 light years or something like that, or
I don't think it's quite that far.
500. I can't remember.
I don't know. I can't remember even which one it is. It's like
Alpha Centauri
Beta Centauri, I think.
or something like that. I knew it was one.
I can't remember. It's either that or that.
We
dude's
should know this. We play Starfield. That's
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I should know this, but I don't. Off the
it's
top
all
of my
based
head.
off real stars.
Either way,
Yeah.
it's so far out of my realm of just being able to suspend disbelief that it's stupid. And I think there's even like in the EU, even like rules against it, like within the galaxy and within the Force and stuff like that. It's like the Force may actually be relegated to just the galaxy.
I did not know that. Is that why Yu Zhongguang
They actually left the galaxy,
and that's why they get
but
cut
they didn't
off?
go to any of the galaxy. They just careened through space.
Seems crazy.
It seems stupid.
It does seem stupid.
Yeah.
So next up, is live action Clone Wars. Is this you just asking if we want it?
Yeah. Or what did you think about it? Or
What I guess I missed it.
the flashback? That is like a live action Clone Wars scene.
Oh yeah, it is. It is.
When she's under
I
the sea.
fucking forgot about it entirely.
So it did not strike out.
It did not, but I've never watched
I thought
Clone
it was
Wars
cool.
either. So
It's awesome. It was
I
awesome.
thought it was really cool.
I really liked it because it first practical clone trooper.
Yeah.
If you all the clone troopers in the prequels all CGI
okay,
unless they had their helmets off and then it was Tamia Morrison, but like actual helmeted
like
Practical.
all of them together. Yeah, okay.
practical, it was cool. I like seeing Hayden Christensen as Anakin
yeah.
and as Clone Wars Anakin, which is the best Anakin.
First of all, who doesn't like Hayden Christensen as Anakin?
It's true. But like Clone Wars Anakin is like one of my favorite characters in all Star Wars. He's so cool.
Yeah.
He like it's crazy the difference between if you watch the prequels and you watch the Clone Wars, it's like these are two different characters.
So I'm assuming since you've already said the next point, the best Anakin Skywalker, it's
Yeah.
the Clone Wars one.
Talking about the Clone Wars scene, though,
Yeah.
was that on Ryloth?
Now that I don't know.
Because there were, like, whenever they stopped fighting for a little bit, there were, like, Twi'leks in the background. Like, in, like, armor and stuff. But you could see their tails and stuff. And it was kind of dusty. They were on
Yeah.
the surface, and it was kind of twilighty.
Might have been.
Because that's the only... Because Ryloth is tidally locked to their sun.
Yeah.
And so it never rotates at all. So the only habitable zone is in the twilight zone.
Yeah.
And that's where they don't live there. They live underneath the surface mostly. But I don't know why I know this.
It's in the episode, isn't it? The set of episodes?
It might be.
I feel like that's
But I think I've known this for
Probably.
a long time. I'm like reaching back here.
You're just finding out that you know way more than you should about certain topics.
Yeah.
These aren't my memories.
You walk up and you see somebody that you've known for 10 years, but you can't remember their name.
Yeah. No. I
It's
do
because
that all the time.
that information stayed and the brain did not make it, or the name did not stay in the brain. Next up, Hu Yang is the narrator of the opening crawls, question mark.
it's a theory everybody has. Like he is the. There was the theory before that it's just 3PO and R2D2. The story of Star Wars is them narrating like some point deep into the future or something.
There's a reason for that because with Greek plays and
Yeah.
stuff, they have a very specific group of people that usually interact. They're a part of the play.
Yeah.
They're called the chorus. They basically narrate this parts of the story for you, and they're either on stage or they're beside the stage, and they're not always taking part, but they're always in it somewhere, and then they end up coming forward and giving some sort of monologue
And being
to
part of
explain
it a little
things,
bit more.
and being a part of it at times.
It explains why like C-3PO and R2D2 are like just always in the shit.
Yeah, they're
the,
always there.
the most important parts of the galaxy.
Yeah.
But then because Hu Yang says like a long time ago, Galaxy Far Far, everybody was like, he's the narrator.
Yeah.
Because how cool would it not be to have fucking David Tennant just be the narrator of Star Wars?
And he was so good.
He's so good.
So good at that. That whole scene with him telling the story to Ahsoka in the ship was probably one of the best scenes in all the TV shows. That's including Andor for me. And I loved Andor. Andor was like top tier. But this specific scene trumps that for me because it was just so good.
Better than Vader Hallway?
I'm talking TV shows.
Okay. Gotcha.
Vader Hallway is the best period in any movie period. So
I was just checking.
Pretty good. Next up, what do we think of Thrawn as the new big bad?
I use the word new big bad because he's obviously being set up to be like the TV universe
Big bad. Yeah.
big bad. Like he is going to be the main antagonist for
it'll be interesting.
several shows, I'm assuming.
I'm happy with who they got to play it.
Oh, yeah. Lars Mickelson's awesome.
Oh, yeah,
I
he's
thought he was
great.
great. And he got a lot of flack for it being kind of weird looking, but Thrawn is supposed to be weird looking. He's an alien that's blue.
I didn't think he
with
looked
red
that
eyes.
bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I did.
Chiss look weird anyway because they just have like no pupil, red eyes,
Yeah.
and they just look weird. They're aliens. They're supposed to look weird.
Yeah.
Like, would you say like a fucking
Ahsoka looks weird to me.
But he's supposed
what-
to be fairly okay.
Ahsoka really looks weird when she takes her headband off.
It's not a stretch to imagine that the Chiss were modeled after like the Vulcans, right? Because they're fairly emotionless. They're very logical, but they've also got some weird spirituality stuff to go with it, and yeah, so they're very much modeled after that. But
Blue.
But Thrawn, though, in the books and stuff, and even the old versions of the books or the new version of the books, because I've read both, he's not a bad person. By any stretch of the imagination, he's usually trying to do things in the most equitable, logical way.
I get that. I just feel like in the show he's definitely a bad person.
Oh, he's going to be the bad guy. He's going to be like the anti-villain.
My brain went straight to that scene from Wreck-It Ralph where he's like, "You are bad guy. This doesn't mean you are bad guy."
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Oh, that's kind of where Thrawn falls too.
I do wonder if they're gonna have something to do if they're gonna try and tie in like the Chiss ascendancy
It's possible.
thing,
I'd like to see it.
which is has to do with the replacement Yu Zhongguang, the grits or something.
They're not
Grisk?
replacement. They were already there beforehand. Yeah, I can't remember their name.
It's like Grisk or something
something like that. Grisk.
I can't remember.
Yeah. But no, they're. I think it's gonna be interesting because Thrawn's gonna be. He's gonna be different than what you think he's gonna be because they're trying to portray him as this terrible, really bad person because he wants to kill the Jedi, right?
And he's gonna make some decisions that are like, I can agree with that.
Well, if you read the books that are written about him for this current iteration of the canon, it's very obvious why he would be against Jedi. Because he had an early interaction with Anakin Skywalker, General Anakin Skywalker, during the Clone Wars. And
It's why he has like such disdain for Ahsoka because
yes.
she's his Padawan.
Yes. And through a weird set of circumstances, Thrawn's plans failed because Anakin got wishy-washy about something. And later on, Thrawn was interacting on the same planet. I don't remember the name of the planet, but on the same planet, Thrawn was interacting with and helping Darth Vader, Anakin.
And realized
and he worked out that it was Anakin.
Yeah. One of the few Empire people to know that.
Yeah.
Darth Vader is Anakin Skywalker.
Which is one of the reasons why Thrawn was attempting to overthrow the Empire at first, because
He was like, fuck this bullshit.
because every time that he took steps forward in the right direction to make things more equitable and logical, either Palpatine,
Jackass named Anakin.
Palpatine or
Vader.
would come in and be like, well, I want to do this because I want to do this.
Yeah.
And have no other reasons, have no logical purpose.
No other reason than
waste resources and just start killing officers for no reason with the jokey thingy.
Yeah.
Or putting all the resources into a second Death Star.
Yeah.
After the first one blew up.
Yeah, which Thrawn was against.
Yeah.
Thrawn specifically voted against because he was the Grand Admiral. After a certain time, he became the Grand Admiral. After Tarkin, I believe.
Well,
It could have been a couple other.
Tarkin wasn't an admiral, was he? He was a Moff.
He was Grand Moff Tarkin. Yes. Okay, yeah, you're right.
I don't know who was the Grand Admiral before.
Moff is more like governor.
Yeah, they're governors because there's other Moffs in the...
There's other Grand Admirals in the movies, but they're never actually mentioned as the Grand Admiral. But it doesn't matter.
I do know that anytime I've heard Thrawn, it's always Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Yes, he is.
He's
also a big deal because he's like one of the only alien officers in the Empire.
Might be the only. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's big. They're very xenophobic, as in you have to be a human to succeed here.
Gotcha.
Which is funny because he was put in that position because Palpatine had a lot of faith in him.
Yeah.
Which then he didn't have any faith in Palpatine.
Fair enough. I mean, somehow he survives though. So next up, Night Sister, Dark Magic? ?
Are we a fan of it? Like, do we like the fact that they make zombies?
I mean, yeah,
Yeah, it's cool.
zombies
I thought
are
it was
cool.
really
It's
cool.
fucking cool.
It was
That's
really
Also-
probably like,
So telegraphed, like
oh yeah,
from the beginning. I'm like, I actually thought all those guys were dead beforehand, and they might have been.
maybe.
I don't think they were, but like it definitely like I was like, oh, they're gonna like reanimate these motherfuckers.
Yeah,
I thought it was really cool. There was a lot of them dying in that scene. I was like, man, they're just wading through them. This is too easy.
Yeah.
You know.
yeah. I'll be honest. Most of the show, I was bored, and I think it's Star Wars fatigue. Like I don't. It's just something about when I watch a Star Wars show. The first 2 episodes for sure took me forever. Like it felt like I was watching those first 2 episodes for 3 days. And then I got to like episode 4 and then I was done. Like it took me no time to finish it.
Starts slow, finishes
Yeah.
quicker. So you just have like a pacing problem with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably. But I feel like
They
that's
definitely are slower.
I
the
feel
two
like
episodes.
that's every Star Wars show that I watch. Like, and I don't know. I guess when I was watching it, I was just like, man, I feel like I've seen this 30,000 times.
They follow. It's pretty much the formula of every Star Wars property. Is just kind of starts really slow and picks up in the latter half.
To
Well, I mean, look at
keep you wanting more.
A New Hope did that.
New Hope, Empire, Jedi.
You're just saying words at this point.
Phantom Menace did that.
All of them.
Clone
I
Wars. Clone Wars
Every-
took a long time to take off until the last 40 minutes.
The only one that really doesn't start off slow is Revenge of the Sith.
It starts off like balls deep.
Yeah, and that's probably why it's the best of the prequels.
It's not. It's too much.
But it is.
It's too much.
But it is though. Next up, canon Death Troopers. Kind of, isn't that right? No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's just like a thing they brought back of like, it's the zombies.
Yeah. That's why I was like, didn't we just talk about that? That's
Or
from
Dark Troopers. Is it Dark Troopers?
No, it's Death Troopers is what
There's
you
a
wrote.
difference between Dark Troopers and Death Troopers.
Dark Troopers is the,
Death Troopers is
Dark Troopers
Troopers are
are
the-
the robots.
yeah, the Gideon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're actually stolen. Dark Troopers are stolen technology from former separatist,
Yeah.
AI. And that's why they suck. Death Troopers, though, are basically they're force-infused things. That's kind of strange.
Yeah.
I was actually wondering if remember we talked about the weird assassin guy
Yeah.
that had the armor on? I was actually wondering if that was supposed, when I first saw it, if that was supposed to be a Death Trooper,
Maybe.
and then later on we saw an actual one. So
maybe. Next up, Sabine realizing her potential.
Yeah. Did you have a problem that she can use the Force?
No.
Okay. A lot of people do.
that what?
She can use the Force. A lot
Why
of
would they have a problem?
a lot of
This
people
doesn't make any sense.
literally because in Rebels they say she has no like Force ability. Or,
Okay, well maybe
but
that makes more.
Huang says it, but then Kanan Jarrus says like no, she's just blocked. Like she has like a mental block of not being able to use it because of
Her whole story
Yeah.
is actually it's actually a retelling of a story of another Jedi from the EU named Koran Horn.
Yeah.
And I think I talked about this one Sunday. But he basically had the same problem. He couldn't use the Force very well at all. Couldn't really sense things or anything like that, or push people around, or make apricots float back and forth across the table. It's basically a retelling of that, and basically he over time he starts discovering it, and
And like how to do it.
yeah, a little bit better. Never quite as good as like a Ahsoka or anything like that.
a lot of people just had a problem that she was
Not everybody needs to be a Jedi, okay?
yeah, but I guess they wanted her to be able to use a lightsaber and not be Force
It's
sensitive.
because of her cool hair.
Anybody can use a lightsaber.
False.
Pick it up and fucking
False.
swing it.
It's actually because it has no weight, it is incredibly difficult to use.
Difficult does not mean incapable.
It's like hitting people with a remote, like a TV remote.
So like you could use it to like cut things. Like I feel like several characters that don't have force powers use it to be like, all right, well here I'll just turn it on and like.
Well, like Finn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can use it. You're gonna suck at it though. To use, you have to have the force to like be able to do like the fancy sword techniques and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, like if you look at like actual weapons, actual swords, axes, and stuff like that, they have weight, and that weight is distributed in a way that makes it easier to use.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's balanced.
Yeah, because I mean that's the way leverage works, and that's what all weapons are based off of. There is no leverage with a lightsaber.
Yeah, it's handle.
Yeah. No, I mean I get that.
I just say like canonically, you are not supposed to be able to be proficient with a lightsaber if you do not have the force, or you're not a
I'm
robot.
not saying you'd be proficient. I'm just saying anybody could pick it up and use it.
Technically,
Would they be effective? No. Would they die in 6 seconds? Yes.
But see,
Did they use it?
They'd probably kill themselves, to be honest.
More than likely.
That's what ends up happening. Like you just like fucking
Yeah.
Oh no, Grandma!
yeah. But it was. I don't.
I'm glad you finally got that. Okay.
No, it's not even that. I heard that. It was just my brain went straight. I've been watching so many kids' movies and shows that my brain went straight to Moana
Oh.
of the crab. I hate my grandma.
Anyway, I don't know how anybody could watch the show and not have like realize that this Sabine's arc was going to be able to use the Force. Like it's very.
I never questioned it.
It's very clearly like defined, but some people that like
Just waiting for it. Really,
I
is
know.
all you're doing.
like-
It's just
it feels like
When's it gonna happen?
some part of the Star Wars fandom just it surprised them somehow. I'm like, what show were you watching where this was like this came out of left field for you?
it's literally been leading up since the
You're
first
watching a
time.
Star Wars show and you are surprised
It's been
that the
happening
person that's
since
been
like
trying to use the
Rebels.
Force.
Yeah.
I think season 2 is when it started with Sabine. I can't remember.
I don't know. Again, watch 5 episodes.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I wouldn't watch anymore. It wasn't really that good.
I watched the important episodes from what I know.
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
I watched the Obi-Wan Darth Maul episode and the
Watch the last episode.
yep,
Yeah,
and
that's
the,
important.
and the Anakin and Ahsoka episode.
It's got space whales.
Yeah,
So
Next up, Mortis Gods and Aboleth.
you're gonna be confused because you have no idea who the Morse gods are. Yeah.
Sure don't.
So they are essentially 3 Force beings that were once mortals. That
I mean, they use the word force gods, but I mean, it's not really the point. They're not actually controlling or asking people to worship them or anything.
No.
So
they're like aspects of the Force, though.
yeah,
So there's you actually see all 3 of them in
In the show.
the show. Specifically, you see him at the last Balin's final shot where he's on the cliff
on the hand.
on the hand,
Yeah,
the statues.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the one he's on,
he's on is the
father, which is the neutral.
Yeah. The gray.
Yeah, the gray, the mid, yeah, neutral.
Yeah.
The son,
Was on his
Left.
was on the father's left. So he's actually still there.
yeah, but he's the dark side
Yes.
embodiment, and then the daughter
Yeah.
is the
Right
light
side
right,
where it's
yeah.
gone.
But her face is gone. She is the light side.
She's actually supposed to be gone.
Gone.
Gone. Yeah.
It's in the Mortis episode, right, where Ahsoka dies,
Yeah.
and she is imbued with the spirit of the daughter. That's why the was it the owl? Not the owl. Is it an owl? The bird.
It's a bird. of
Whatever,
some
the
sort.
bird.
Yeah.
That's this.
It shows up randomly in places
Ahsoka?
to Ahsoka.
Yeah, it's like a vision
okay.
thing. It's
I
like an embodiment of the daughter. Anyway, they're like just important like Filoni characters that he's just like has the heart on for. Like they're
It's not bad.
No.
It brings a more fantasy vibe
Yeah.
Yeah.
to Star Wars, which wasn't wholly necessary, but it's not terrible.
Yeah.
It depends on where they take it from this point forward that will make it terrible or not. Abeloth, though, is more like the devourer.
the devourer, but she's also like
Mortal?
the mortal. She became like the mother,
Sort of.
sort of.
Yeah, it's weird.
She's like the fourth piece of this puzzle. That it's basically with the thing that that Balin Scroll is looking at in the distance. He's looking at her / it / Aboleth.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Which is like Filoni has these weird things that he likes to do, where he likes to bring up old stuff
And
from
a lot
Clone
of it
Wars.
is just imagery.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like he just like there's certain things like that he created / used in Clone Wars that he just wants to keep using over and over and over again.
Well, not only that, there's some things that he probably feels didn't get enough screen time or dedication to it, so he probably tries to give it a little bit more like time on air and stuff like that, so that people can understand what it's about, give it a little bit more depth.
But anyway, was it the father that wanted Anakin to replace him?
Yes.
Yeah. It's basically like confirming that like Anakin is like the chosen one of the Force. Like he was supposed to replace the father as like the balance of the Force, like fulfilling the prophecy and bullshit. And that's why some people think that's why Ahsoka could see Anakin because on that world because they think the father is there.
Yeah, and it's assumed, like, a lot of people are assuming that Ahsoka's going to be replacing
I mean, she kind of
the daughter.
has.
Sort of has already.
Yeah.
Well, they've gone kind of wacky before, because if you go back into, like, the Old Republic days and stuff, you get other images of this father, son, and daughter image, like with the, like, it's not the Infinite Empire, it's some other Infinite Emperor or something like that.
Yeah, the
There was a whole like expansion on Tor that was about it, and it was really weird.
The ones with the yellow lightsaber people.
Yeah. It was really weird.
We watched the Old Republic cinematics.
They are fantastic.
They're fucking awesome.
Oh, they're really good.
But there's I remember we saw one. It was
It's
just
very
like,
confusing.
It was just because there's no story really. There's no talking really. It's just like it's just like people with lightsabers fighting, and you kind of have to like fill in the
Piece
gaps
together what's happening.
Yeah.
That's all
because
right.
you don't have any of the quest information. I feel like to like go with it. You're like, I don't know what's happening.
They're very good cinematics.
Yeah,
Just
they're
if you
cool.
like Star Wars stuff and lightsaber fights, just go watch them. They're really good.
Alrighty. Next up, ending on a literal cliffhanger.
Yeah.
My mouth tried to not say that.
It was just like they ended it, and I was like, we're gonna have to recast him. No way around it.
Yeah.
There's literally no way around it, unless they just.
Unfortunately, there are really good options,
there's a lot of really good options.
but I don't. He was so good.
So good.
He was so good. It's really sad.
It's just like unless they literally
Not just for this. I mean, it's sad in general, but I mean, it's extra sad.
It's sad because like he also just didn't like. This would have been I feel like his like defining role.
Yeah, this was. I mean, he's always played like secondary
Yeah.
roles, like on Thor and stuff. But
I think this would be the thing that like, everybody would be like, oh yeah, Balin Scroll,
Yeah.
and everybody like, oh yeah,
And the one that everybody talks about him.
yeah, just sucks.
It does. Next up, what to expect in season 2, in a season 2.
Yeah.
Because they haven't confirmed one, right?
They have. That's why the title of this is Ahsoka Season 1, because it's not confirmed that we're going to get a second season. I would highly doubt we don't get one, but it also might be something where, like, these storylines appear in other shows and not in Ahsoka Season 2 somehow. Like, maybe they wouldn't.
They just, like, add to it.
Yeah. I mean, kind of like what they did with, like, Boba Fett.
Oh, you mean Mandalorian season whatever.
Yeah, where like they took like a plot line from Mandalorian and just attached it in the middle of Book of Boba Fett, and you're like, why?
Yeah.
I would prefer if it got a second season where it's all
Ahsoka related.
these at least these two halves of the plot lines of like
Yeah.
regular galaxy, new galaxy, like
yeah,
I have no expectations for a season 2, though. But that's because I don't know as much of Star Wars lore to matter.
I mean,
it's more like what do you want to see?
I mean,
Lightsaber fights.
There'll probably be some of those.
there'll be those.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, you're probably going to see something along the lines of either the Imperial Remnant coming up, and then they're probably going to actually do pretty well for a while because they have to have momentum to be stopped, right?
Yeah.
So it's either next season at the end of it, they're going to have they're going to be ramping up, and then something terrible is going to happen to the Imperial Remnant, or something terrible is going to happen to the Republic. You may also see the induction of the First Order.
That's kind of
if it's not the Imperial Remnant. I'm thinking they're going to do First Order.
It's kind of one of those things. Like, so what they did with the Clone Wars was they essentially used that to fix the prequels.
Yeah.
That's you ask anybody what the Clone Wars is about. It's just like massaging the prequels to make them work, right?
This is what's going to happen.
This
for
is
the
what
prequels, for the sequels.
The sequels is like all these. The Mandoverse, I feel like it's all set up to kind of get like to massage and fix and make it blend. So yeah, I feel like we're gonna have something to do with First Order, of like how we got the First Order, because
We may even get introduced to Snoke at some point.
Yep.
That was another theory I read about, but who knows? That would just be Palpatine interfering with Thrawn again.
That would be awesome though. If like
The power struggle might be interesting, and then you might see Thrawn become a good guy again and trying to defeat that, but he'll probably get beat.
like I'm all for more Andy Serkis.
Oh,
Even if he's just mocapping Snoke.
Yeah.
Give it to me.
He's always good.
Yeah.
And last, well, not last.
Yeah, this
but
also kind of ties in. Like, Filoni's has a movie. He's gonna have a movie.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like it will be the culmination
Of all the shows
of the
and-
Mandoverse of Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka,
Probably.
and I think that's really it's only 3 shows. I guess Clone Wars too. I guess.
Is it going to be called? What's it going to be called?
I don't know.
I guess. I mean,
Again, because we're in the middle of we were in the middle of a writer's strike, and we're still in the midst of an actor strike. Not a whole lot of like progress has been made on stuff.
I mean, I haven't looked real deep into the crew casting for Ahsoka, but on the end credits, I didn't see any writers.
Oh, you mean the 5-minute in credits?
Yeah,
That's a thing that they've had,
Oh, that pisses me off.
because they do that and then they put them in like they translate a bunch of it into different languages.
Yeah, it irritates shit out of me.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't watch the different languages parts.
Yeah.
I didn't watch any of it once I figured out. The problem was I was taking care of the kid,
And you're just waiting for it to like
and I was
continue
just
to
like
play.
waiting on it to continue. And I was like, "What? Has this been going forever?"
Yeah.
And then I skipped to the next
That's
episode,
like
and then I noticed
it's
it.
like a Disney Plus thing where they don't have like good
time cuts
time
for
cuts
when they start.
Yeah, your next episode skips,
Yeah.
your auto skip, I guess, whatever.
All right, and now to the point where we get to see if audiences and critics agree with us. So Rotten Tomatoes, at the time of making the script, was an 86% tomato meter with 256 reviews, and which means critics liked it. 71% audience score with 5,000 plus reviews, so that stays right along. Well, no, because audience is just, did you like it, yes or no?
Yeah.
IMDb is a 7.8 out of 10 with 68,093 reviews. I had it pulled up. I just looked. It's down to 7.7, and it has 83,948 reviews now. It says no critic score. That's because IMDb, because the last TV show or movie or whatever we didn't have critic scores. IMDb's changed it to where they don't accumulate the critic scores. You just have to click critic reviews, and then you can see the specific ones that you want to read.
Oh,
I think that sucks because then you don't know
yeah.
Like, I want to know an average score.
Yeah. I don't want like maybe it's just more like just so that way people can go read like the critics that they generally agree with.
I guess the ones that they think are better.
Yeah.
Episode 1 has a 7.8 out of 10. It's still that. Episode 2 is actually down to a 7.8 from a 7.9. Episode 3 is a 7.4. Episode 4 is an 8.7. Episode 5 is down to a 9.1 from 9.2, so not
Yeah,
huge
like
drop.
all these changes are literally by 0.1, so it's like, all right, well, whatever.
Episode 6 is 8.2. Episode 7 is 7.8 from 7.9. And episode 8 is 7.9 from 8.
Yeah.
So they're all still very, very close.
Yeah.
Enough that I don't think 0.1
No.
matters.
I think that's accurate, though.
Yeah.
Like, there was better in the middle. The
Well, that's
season
the
was
two
better
highest.
in the middle.
The
Yeah.
two highest episodes are the episode where it ends with Anakin and
Ahsoka.
and then the entire 5th episode is just like Ahsoka and what's it called, the between worlds, or
I don't know.
I can't remember. There's some specific name for it in the fucking canon.
I don't remember what it's
Yeah,
called.
but it's just like that's my favorite episode of the show for sure. It's not
It was really
really
good.
close. It's just like, oh yeah, I get the
And
hate.
the casting for young Ahsoka was really good.
Yeah.
She was
Do
really
you recognize her?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you recognize her?
No, but I have no memory of this place. I don't know what the fuck happened while I was
You
doing
don't. I
that
mean, you don't
bit.
recognize the young Ahsoka.
I don't remember young Ahsoka. Like, I know she's in it. I just don't remember it whatsoever.
I love it. You just like your brain just like missed like
It did. It fucking blocked out.
like literally the best part of this entire show.
Okay,
and
so
you're like, I don't remember that. I have no memory of it.
so you know when Ahsoka and Anakin are fighting and he
Yeah.
does that whole like cloud walk and
Yeah.
like Darth Vader's?
Yeah.
I've seen that clip on every social media
Uh-huh.
site. I don't remember seeing it in the show. I was like, is that even a real clip? Like, I finished the show and was like, is this a real clip?
I have to assume one of the kids was doing something and you were just like distracted
Well-
and your brain didn't.
So most of the time I was taking care of Jensen while I was like watching the show.
Yeah.
So there's a good chance he was screaming in my ear while I was like
Yeah.
trying to get him to take a nap. So I'm just rocking,
that
holding my
has to be-
passy like, go to sleep, go to sleep.
I was trying to remember what she was on.
For
like I'm-
for the audio listeners, it looked like Tyler was giving a baby a chokehold. That's what it looked like. The way you had your
Listen,
hand, you're like,
There's sometimes that when I hold him, it feels like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, young Gamora.
yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
yeah.
But like I said, also didn't see her. Had I seen her, I would remember that. That
It
will
also like drives home the point, like, if you go back and watch Clone Wars, you're, oh my God, she is a literal child.
Yeah.
She is a child soldier. You're like, oh, it really
bad.
paints that whole series in a much darker light than it appears in its cartoon animated form. You're like, oh, this.
Alrighty. I think that's everything. So that'll wrap up this episode of Stupidness. And you can use the links in the description. And you can find all our social media things, all the important stuff. Go there, do it now. We love you.
Deuce.
Adios.